Horsetails is proudly brought to you by the South Carolina Department of Agriculture. South Carolina, a true leader in the equine industry.
Folks, got a great show lined up today here in TIMMONSVILLE, South Carolina. Sarah and Frank Chisholm got an open house of Palmetto Arabians, so stay tuned for some more great horse tales.
Horsetails is being brought to you today by Campbell's Roofing, roof specialist for residential and commercial. By Arbor One Farm Credit. By Quality Auto Sales, for new and used cars. Make Quality Auto Sales your last stop. By Alive Magazine, your devotional publication. Look for this in your local stores and online at alivemagazine.tv. KG Smith Company, now stocking a full line of equine supplies. Visit them in Lake City. By Best Way Grocery, located in Hemingway, South Carolina. See Jimmy Baxley for the best meat products in Hemingway.
Did you know that the equine industry in South Carolina has an economic impact of nearly $3 billion annually? Hello, I'm Marcia Hewitt with the South Carolina Department of Agriculture. The economic impact of the horse industry is one of our state's best kept secrets. Thousands of people are employed in different areas, from hands-on care to the production of horse supplies. Horses and the opportunity to ride various parts of our beautiful state, from the coast to the mountains, from trail riding to world-class horse racing. South Carolina is a leader in the equine industry.
There's nothing fresher, nothing finer than locally grown fruits and vegetables. They're tastier, sweeter, healthier, and most of us would agree they're better. That's why your South Carolina Department of Agriculture is working to make certified South Carolina grown produce and products available in stores in your neighborhood. Ask for South Carolina. Nothing's fresher, nothing's finer.
Southern Flooring and Interiors, Florence's premier flooring and decorating company. The talent, dedication, and experience of their staff gives them a leading edge in the marketplace. No job is too big or too small. Southern Flooring and Interiors, located at 1228 Celebration Boulevard.
If you want the feeling of real horsepower, come on down to Doug's Harley-Davidson, located in Florence, South Carolina.
Doug's Harley-Davidson wants you to come by and see why no other bikes on the road compare to Harley-Davidson's ride and performance. And after the sale, Doug's Harley-Davidson has the experience to service your new or pre-owned bike for years to come. And for the latest Harley-Davidson clothing and accessories, Doug's has the complete fashion look on and off the bike.
Doug's Harley-Davidson is not just a motorcycle, it's a way of life.
Welcome to Pieces, where you can find pieces for you and your home. Your one-stop shop for women's clothing, jewelry, gifts, accent furniture, and accessories for the home. Located at 1228 Celebration Boulevard.
Folks, join me now is Frank Chisholm, TIMMONSVILLE, South Carolina, owner of Palmetto Arabians. Frank spent a lot of years.
It has, David.
We had children in school, and a few pounds lighter for both of us, and a little bit less gray.
Yeah, well, and actually less hair for me, but you're...
I'm hiding mine.
No, okay.
Well, Frank, it's amazing. We kind of knew each other years ago, and the love of horses has brought us back together for this interview. I really don't know where to start, but you've got quite a prestigious award that you were this past year, the 2012 APAHA Breeder of the Year.
Yeah, we were very fortunate. It's an award that all the folks in the Arabian and that are members of the Arabian Horse Association vote on, so winning it by a vote of the people in the industry was really humbling. So we're very proud of it, and we're a breeding farm, and when you get recognized as a top breeder, that's as good as it gets for you if that's what you're trying to do.
Well, Frank, we kind of started where you are now, but how did you get here? I mean, you got similar stories of being a horse lover. You had loved a woman and she loved a horse, and here you are, right?
Yep, she wanted a horse to go riding, and so she got a little half Arabian gelding, and I decided if I wanted to see her any, I needed to get me a horse. We both used to ride when we were younger, and so I got a quarter horse, and the quarter horse was a nice horse, but the Arabian had so much more personality and was so much more trainable. I was like, let me check into this. So I sold my quarter horse and started reading about Arabians. And the biggest problem was there were very few Arabians in South Carolina. So I went to Charleston and talked to a guy named Billy Ridgel who was very active in the Arabian breed, and checked around here and went to Scottsdale, and that was the biggest Arabian horse show in the world, and thought, well, I can find an Arabian there. And sure enough, we found one. We were looking for my horse, and when we came back, my wife had 2 horses, I had 0. So we bought a little chestnut filly for her, but we did meet a woman there named Sheila Varian, who's in the Cowgirl Hall of Fame and breeds very athletic Arabians. Sundance Kid here is one of them, and we basically used her breeding stock as kind of the base for what we got started on.
Right. So what draws you to the Arabian? I mean, I know you got in them, but you had to really be intrigued to kind of stay and get to the level you are now. Well,
they're the oldest purebred breed in the world. Most of the horses that are around here have Arabian.
They are affirming that.
Yeah. That you have, for example, the quarter horse has Arabian blood in it. The thoroughbred was started with one of 3 Arabian stallions crossing with the workhorses back over in England. They've been around for 5,000–6,000 years, and their beauty really intrigued me. I mean, if you look at the difference or what an Arabian does, they have a very sculpted head, large eye, tipped-in ears, a lot of curve and stuff with their neck. They're real beautiful horses, and they're very people-oriented. When you walk around this barn here, you won't see a horse pin its ears back or turn around. They all come to you. And when you walk out in our pastures or even through the barn, these horses come and they want human contact. I mean, they were kept in the tents with the Bedouins because if they lost their horse, they were out of luck. They couldn't hunt, they couldn't travel, they couldn't fight. So the horse was the most important thing in their life. So they've been very cherished animals all through history. And in fact, when the Crusades were going on, the French and English and Europeans would go over there, and the people riding Arabian horses would just run circles around them. I mean, these horses can go forever. They're great endurance horses. And reading all that, I got more and more interested in them and going to look at them, and the rest is history. Now we've got probably 70 of them.
Well, Frank, I think you keep stories and encyclopedia of horse breeds beside your bed, and that's what you read every night. That was very good. Horsetails has been a journey for me, Frank, coming out here meeting you again in South Carolina. And I just want to get you an attaboy. You've got world class. Well, you are a world class breeder here in the state of South Carolina. So nothing could be finer than being in Timmonsville, South Carolina.
Well, thank you, David.
Thank you.
All right.
Folks, join me now and Sarah Chisholm, the brains and the beauty of the Chisholm outfit. Sarah?
Yes.
How'd you get started in horses way out here in Timmonsville?
Well, I had a love of horses growing up, and had been away from them for about 20–25 years, and decided I wanted another hobby. So got a half Arabian Charlie, and he was kind of our start into this venture. This is Dreams of Gold. She's our second Arabian, well, actually our first purebred Arabian, and she came from Scottsdale, Arizona. And after I got Dreams, Frank decided we would get into it a little more seriously and started visiting a lot of places that have a lot of Arabians, Scottsdale, Arizona, and in California, where our mentor Sheila Varian lives. So we have a lot of her horses on the farm.
Well, Sarah, what's some of your day-to-day duties on the farm?
I do a lot of taking care of. There's a lot of grooming, Just being around the horses is therapeutic. Even cleaning stalls, a lot of people would think, oh my gosh, that's so much work and yuck, why would you do it? But it's all part of the process, and we don't actually consider it work. It's therapeutic and a pleasure to be out here.
A labor of love.
Yes. Yes,
well, you were
indeed.
sharing, you give yourself a special treat. You took a trip up into the Sierras with the lady you got started with the horses.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
This past September, I had an invitation to join a group of 12 on a pack trip up in the Sierras. So we were allowed to take 30 pounds of gear with us to stay a week camping in the Sierras. So that was my tent, my sleep roll, my clothes, which I didn't change the entire time I was there. We cooked, we drank out of streams, and I guess we were camped at about 11,000 feet. And it was a very stretching experience, but that's something I wanted to do with Sheila Varian and a lot of very accomplished horse people. So it was a great time.
Well, Frank was accusing you of that got him into horses, and now he's passionate about it, but I know you are, and y'all just got a prestigious award. Well, where do you see Palmetto Arabians going in the future?
I think we will definitely continue breeding. That's the main part of our operation, is breeding. We'll continue to show and have events like we're having today on the farm, an open house to share Arabians with people in the area that maybe haven't been around them that much. They're just very gentle. We say it's like having a large dog. But we'll continue breeding, and we have a geriatric pasture here. Horses that are beyond their breeding age or whatever, we just love them.
Well, that's great. Well, Sarah, thanks for your time, and we're going to get back and enjoying some of the activities today. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Perry Wilson, visiting Palmetto Arabians from Tavares, Florida. We'll be right back with you with more Horse Tales. Horse Tales is being brought to you today by Williamsburg Feed and Tack, your Seminole Feed and Carhartt clothing shop. Equestrian Images, making memories together. Carolina Hoofbeats, the Carolina's premier equine magazine. By Marcia Hewitt, equine specialist for the South Carolina Department of Agriculture. And by Mark Hausman Training Center, where helping people ride better horses is not just a slogan, it's an everyday occurrence.
Did you know that the equine industry in South Carolina has an economic impact of nearly $3 billion annually? Hello, I'm Marcia Hewitt with the South Carolina Department of Agriculture. The economic impact of the horse industry is one of our state's best-kept secrets. Thousands of people are employed in different areas, from hands-on care to the production of horse supplies. Horses and the opportunity to ride various parts of our beautiful state, from the coast to the mountains, from trail riding to world-class horse racing. South Carolina is a leader in the equine industry.
There's nothing fresher, nothing finer than locally grown fruits and vegetables. They're tastier, sweeter, healthier, and most of us would agree they're better. That's why your South Carolina Department of Agriculture is working to make certified South Carolina grown produce and products available in stores in your neighborhood. Ask for South Carolina. Nothing's fresher, nothing's finer.
Howdy, cowboys and cowgirls. I'm Keith Momar, the cowboy preacher. You see, today it's the Bible and the bull rope. The bull rope, the bull riders heat that bull rope up by putting rosin on their glove, and they heat it up till their glove becomes sticky and the bull rope becomes sticky. They do that with the handle and also the tail of the rope, so that when they wrap it around their hand, they got a good firm grip, so they can make the best ride they know how to make. You see, boys and girls, the Bible's the same way. We need to heat it up in our hearts and lives. We need to make sure that it sticks in our hearts and in our minds. First we put it in our minds, it becomes knowledge. When we put it in our hearts, it becomes wisdom. You see, the Bible wants to become alive in you so that you can make that ride over the devil, Diablo, that bull that you think you can't ride. He wants to make you more than overcomers, and he will, by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of your testimony, that he'll make you say, I can, and I can do all things through Christ Jesus, which strengthens me. That's my message. I'm Keith Bomar, the Cowboy Preacher.
Folks, join me now, Roy O'Neill from Scottsdale, Arizona. You've come a fur piece.
That's true, sir. We've come a long ways to see some good horses.
Well, I was on your website last night, and before I get all this started, is there a country you have not sold an Arabian to?
There is probably several, and we'll try to get there eventually. The Arabian horse is a global horse, so if you're not selling them internationally, you're probably behind the 8 ball.
Well, we're getting a little warm here today. What was the climate like when you left Scottsdale?
It's still spring. It's 102. Well, you know, it'll warm up in late June, early July.
Well, I know you're a first-class, world-class trainer, but how'd you get involved with the Arabians?
I live next to a farm in Northern California, and my mom sent me over there to get out of the house each day, and it was started by the drummer of the Doobie Brothers, John Hartman, and he had a passion when he quit the band to raise Arabian horses, and that was my 7-Eleven or playground or schoolyard every day to go over there after school, was to spend time there. And they tried to get rid of me at first, and they gave me the horrible jobs and gave me little time a day, and after a period of time I kept coming back for more, and then they started giving me better jobs and more chores and helping me with my skill level, and that's where it began.
And it's a family affair. Your wife's in it with you?
Correct. My wife is my partner in the business, runs the business side of, and I run the horse management side, and she was a rider and an enthusiast breeder before I met her, so the horse business brought us together. Well, I was watching you in there a few minutes. What does it take to get a horse to the level that you've taken some? Well, you've got to start with a good horse. And it needs to combine, honestly, some genes, and it needs to want to do its job, and then it takes 4 or 5 months of time. Just like anything else in life, training for a marathon or competing in the other sport, you need prep time and consistency, and you can't just do it overnight.
Folks, join me now is Melissa Bradshaw.
That's right.
Breeding manager of Palmetto Arabians and jack of all trades, because I've watched you come and watched you go, and I'm finally glad we got you slowed down to interview. I know you do a little bit of everything. What's your main responsibilities here?
My main responsibility is the breeding manager. So all the horses here are bred with artificial reproductive technology, which is artificial insemination. And then we collect our stallions so we can breed a stallion here in South Carolina to a mare that's all the way in California. We also freeze semen in-house here at this farm, which is, you know, a lot of people have to use their vets for that service.
Well, who we got here today?
This is our national champion, May Dancer V. She's sired by our senior stallion, Sundance Kid V, and she's one of our flagship mares of the farm and always a joy to be around and a camera hog.
Now I want to add something. Me and Frank was talking, and the lady that Frank bought some of his horses from, she has a V at the end that stands for her breeding farm. Is that correct?
Right. And
y'all do the same with what y'all sell to have PA at the end?
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's pretty interesting.
So May Dancer V was bought at Sheila Varians of Varian Arabians.
Right.
Frank bought a lot of Varian bred horses and ended up liking them so much he went back and bought her sire, Sundance Kid V. Here at Palmetto Arabians, our horses' names are, like her son is P.A. Magellan, so that's Palmetto Arabians, so it's always a stamp on as the horse goes throughout its life and its show record. They know it was bred by Palmetto Arabians.
Wow. Well, are you from South Carolina?
No, I went to North Carolina State University. My major was industrial animal science, and I got a minor in Spanish. I rode all sorts of horses. I rode Arabs as a youth, quarter horses as a youth, hunter jumpers as a youth. So it really didn't matter to me what breed I was breeding. It could have been spotted donkeys as long as I was working out on the farm and working with horses. But I really have learned to appreciate the Arabian breed now that I've been here to see, you know, exactly a little bit more in detail what it was.
Hey, I'm Reagan from Charleston out here at Frank Chisholm's place. Stay tuned for more horse tales.
Horse Tales is being brought to you today by Perfect Partners Equine, a unique and effective team approach to horse training. By Soul Shine Horsewear, Visit them online for handmade saddle pads, blankets, purses, bags, and horse accessories. By Pine View Enterprises for all your trailer, horse cargo, and utility needs. Also check out their full line of golf carts and storage buildings. See Randall Jones for the best deals in the Southeast. By King Street Auction Company, buying and selling new and used equipment, tractors, and real estate. Call Alton Brown Jr. at 843-382-2121. By Morale Tire Service in Latta, South Carolina. Tire and tire service for your car, truck, or tractor.
Folks, I got a great horsetail for you here today if I don't get bit. Brought to you by my good friends at Crown Beverages. Folks, join me now is Eric Soto, Assistant Supervisor with the East Coast Budweiser Hitch. That's a mouthful. And my buddy Jack. Eric, we've talked about a lot the past few days. What does it take to really get these horses to the level Jack is right now?
Basically, you know, we start training them when they're 3. Okay. And from there, they spend at least 1 year, maybe 2 in training. You know, we throw all different types of obstacles at them, you know. Obviously agility, like driving around cones and in hitches just by themselves, 2, 4, 6, 8. Basically trying to get them broke to everything that we can. I mean, over bumps, through hurdles, we even ride them through the woods, drive cars around them while we're out in the parking lot. Anything we can to try to desensitize them to everything. Once they're pretty well broke, you know, they're usually 4, maybe early 5-year-old year. We'll take them actually on the road, take them out there. They'll basically get seasoned in. You know, we can't replicate the crowds and everything we see out on the road at home. Okay. So we'll actually take them out. They'll get further desensitized, and usually that takes about another year or 2 to get them fully ready for everything we see on the road, all the obstacles and all. And all geldings, is that correct? Yes, sir. I believe since 1933 we've only used geldings on our hitches. Which is smart. Well, tell us about this. How many farms in the Budweiser system? Well, we have 5 different locations that we house Clydesdales. 4 of them are actually working farms. There is one in Merrimack, New Hampshire, which is actually our training facility, and that's where we're actually based as the East Coast Hitch. Up there, you know, they train all the horses. They train them. They house some of our spare horses that have some time off from the road, so we switch them out every few months. And also, you know, they're always getting new ones in, graduating older ones out. So there's about, say, 20 head there at all times. Then we have 2 locations in St. Louis itself for Grant's Farm, and we actually have the hitch horses for the St. Louis hitch at the brewery itself. Right. Grant's Farm, we're actually using that more for a growing grounds. Say the young foals, once they leave their mom, take them over there till they're 3 or 4, let them grow up, let them mature before they go off to training. We have a breeding farm in Boonville, Missouri. Central Missouri, it's actually open to tours year-round. Okay. Or 6 months out of the year, I believe May to November. Right. There we do all of our breeding. We have about 60 foals annually there. Wow. And that's about it for our actual farms. Then there's Fort Collins, Colorado, which houses the West Coast Hitch, but there's only horses there if the hitch is at home at that point. Okay. And you got your start where? On what farm? Actually, I got started on the breeding farm. Okay. It used to be in Menifee, California, but in '08, we actually moved the farm to Boonville, Missouri. I grew up there. My dad's been there, I think, since '83. So me and my brothers, we grew up on the breeding farm. Some of these guys we actually pulled out of their moms. And yeah, the guys there, growing up, the hitch guys, they would teach us how to drive. You know, they'd take 2 horses out to work them, hooked to a wagon. They'd put us on their laps and give us the lines since we were 5, 6 years old. We'd think we were driving, they were holding the lines behind our hands. Wow. And yeah, we all basically learned how to drive there, growing up with the West Coast guys. Well, you kind of living everybody's equine dream. I mean, yeah. you grew up with them. That's neat. I can tell, Eric, that you're passionate and knowledgeable about the Clydesdale, and it's probably really a gift for you to do what you do every day and love it, isn't it? No, definitely the only thing I know how to do. Well, listen, thank you very much. Thank you, sir. Jack, appreciate your time too. Folks, we had a great time out here at the open house at Palmetto Arabians. Sarah and Frank, what can I say? Great host, great turnout, good food, great clinicians, and Melissa, she knows what she's talking about. That's one of the reasons, and I'm sure Frank can tell you too, that Palmetto Arabians has been a very successful breeding program. As you see, 5 of this year's foals, and I think Frank said he had 13, and I'm maybe 1 or 2 more on the way.
Frank and Sarah have really got a great program going on here, folks, at Palmetto Arabians. You can be sure to check them, palmettoarabians.com. Folks, until next week, keep your range low and your hands quiet, and God bless this great country of ours, and ride on.